Hi, my name is Callie Smith. I serve as the Director of Marketing and Recruitment for the Pampell Online Division of HBU. I came to HBU in very early spring of 2017, right around the time that we launched the online division. So in the very early stages of just kind of getting those online programs off the ground and being a part of the Pampell Online Division as a whole has been a really exciting experience. And it's been especially exciting to watch it grow and kind of see the fruits of your labor coming into fruition and kind of just seeing some of that pay off. And um, started at HB, like I said, 2017, had previously been in higher education at another large private university, and came with Dr. Steve Peterson to HBU. And like we were kind of talking before we got started, it was very much an early startup kind of vibe to what we were doing. And it's been very exciting to be a part of that. But prior to being in just higher education in general, I worked with some other nonprofits, as well as I worked in advertising and PR for a electric utility company in Virginia just after getting out of school. And knew not a whole lot about the industry as a whole, but I did know how to talk to people and relate to people and kind of bridge some of those gaps. And so did that for quite a while. Went into film and TV, which was really fun and exciting for a short while. Went back to Atlanta, which is where my husband and I are both from. Went back to Atlanta to do that, worked on a couple of films, worked on a handful of commercials, which commercials are my favorite thing to work on. And just really, really enjoyed that. I worked actually behind the camera and in front of the camera, which was way outside of my comfort zone, but there was a need and I did it. And I'm so glad that I did. It was definitely one of the most fun times of my life. But at that point, my husband and I were not ready to relocate back to Atlanta to continue that full time. So that's when I moved into higher ed at my former institution. So there I held positions in admissions and advising and in consulting, working with students to just kind of talk them through the process of what it looks like to pursue a degree at the undergraduate or graduate level and what that means for them and how it could be a good fit for them, and even talking through some of those things regarding what's the best program for you. So that was fun. And then I moved over into the operational side of things before we left that institution and came to start at HBU. And so I've been kind of on the forefront of the marketing and advertising for our online division. And I do a lot with our graduate residential programs as well. So it's been a very exciting time. These last several years, definitely no down periods, definitely no downtime. It's been full steam ahead for sure. Love the environment and the team and the family that is HBU. It is unlike any place that I have ever worked. Everybody is just amazing. Just to be with in the space. My husband is Austin. We have been married it'll be 7 years this year, which is really hard to believe. But we've been married 7 years this year. We have 2 dogs that are the most precious things in my life, but they have gotten a little crazy during quarantine and COVID. I don't know what they will do when things kind of resume normalcy. They're not going to know what to do with themselves. So, but yeah, very, very exciting times. It has been a wild last couple of years for sure. Never in a million years did I think that we would be navigating all that we have in the last 11 months with higher education, and specifically marketing higher education. Especially with online, programs that we already had online that we were trying to get off the ground. And it's definitely been a learning experience for sure, but I would not want to be doing it with any other team. So
Callie, we are just so excited to have you today on HBU Think About It. I mean, you and your team really, truly had a courage and a bravery to step in. You know, it wasn't a total startup, but really it was. There was just a small handful of students, and Dr. Peterson, Dr. Spencer, yourself, really early architects of HBU Online. We're so deeply grateful to you all for the work and the service you're doing for students, for HBU, and obviously the continued growth. You know, what's interesting to me is that the pandemic has underscored just how online schooling, online university is here to stay. And, you know, as we know, studying online, you don't catch a COVID virus. Talk to us for just a few minutes about how you see the future and the priority of online education, the opportunity that you're servicing with students of all ages and stages in life.
yeah, I think, with online education, I myself I got my graduate degree entirely online, was a little hesitant about it at first, like most people are. I had experience doing online education with some of my undergraduate classes. It was kind of in, I don't want to say the early stages of some of those, that kind of hybrid model where you come to class, for lectures and maybe some exams, things like that. But you submit everything online. You're using what we use here at HBU as Blackboard, where you're participating in discussion boards and you're really in constant communication, or have the ability to be in constant communication with your professors and classmates and things like that. So I did my undergrad pretty much kind of that hybrid model, and then my master's degree was entirely online. And so that's one of those things where I can completely empathize and sympathize with students when they kind of have that hesitancy to take that step and go, oh gosh, I'm completely online. Nobody holding my hand, nobody babysitting me. You have to have a lot of drive, personal drive, and you have to have a lot of um, discipline, really, to do that. But with COVID and the COVID-19 pandemic and just the crisis that we as a country have faced, and then, to get a little bit more granular in the higher education space, I think prior to this, there was kind of a misconception, dare I say, about online education, that it's easier, or it's oh, well, they're just, I've heard people say, oh, they're just doing it online, like as if it's not, there's not as much value as there is a student going to campus. And really, I think it is what you make it. I have a saying in one of my extracurricular activities that I do outside of work, is that you get out of it what you put in. You go and you can go through the motions, and it may be easy. Um, if you're blessed enough to kind of have those things come easy to you, learning come easy to you. But you get out of it what you put in. And if you're putting in the time, you're putting in the effort, you're going to see that return. You're going to see really good grades, a really good GPA. You're going to see that you finish your degree and you come out with all kinds of prospects for a career, for a job. In the early stages of the virus, though, in the pandemic, it was just kind of keeping up with what seemed like at that point daily changes and updates and what was happening. So I think at the very beginning, we were just trying, like, okay, what's the messaging that we want to send our students? And we laugh about it now because we look back on it and we're like, remember at the beginning of, like, I guess it was March of this year or last year, where we were going, okay, well, we're just going to all work from home for a couple of weeks, and then we'll all be back in the office. Everything will be fine. And you look back on it and you're like, wow, how blissfully unaware we were of what was in store. But I think it's really presented the opportunity for a couple of things. On our side of things, I think it's opened the door for people to maybe expand their knowledge and understanding and perception of online education, and how valuable it is, and that it's not just something that, hey, it's the digital age, it's we're living in the future, and this is how we do school now. It goes beyond that to say that it gives students the opportunity to do what they need to do without compromising other areas of their lives. And that's been a huge message for us in online at HBU, is that the reality is the majority of our students are adult learners that have family obligations, usually big professional obligations already, that are looking to either finish a degree that they started at one point or another, or get an entirely new degree. Maybe they never started one at all. So it's really highlighted that. And then kind of on the flip side, it's highlighted for us the real need for what we're doing. And that is offering students these programs that are the same quality, the same curriculum, that are, of the programs that are offered residentially, but in the online format, so that students can really get the exact same education that a student that attends, on campus classes regularly, just highlighting that need and highlighting that we offer that, and it's here, and we want to help you accomplish those goals. We want to get you to the next stage. We want to help propel you to that area.
We're talking to Callie Smith, who's the HBU Online Director of Marketing and Recruitment, and she oversees the planning and implementation of a comprehensive marketing strategy for HBU Online. And, Callie, I was just, so many thoughts run through my mind. The resiliency of online education. I just read the other day, or heard on Wall Street Journal podcast, that Amazon grew 38% just in 2020. Staggering numbers of a corporation with 1.3 million employees. Google obviously had a huge explosion. And sometimes people have these misconceptions about online education. They think it's inferior. They, like you said, they just have a lack of familiarity with it. So they draw all kinds of conclusions. But the reality is, and study after study's proven it, that as we increase our education, our income increases. We probably are going to get paid more at a job with a master's degree than we might get with a bachelor's degree. And the big slam and critique is the cost of education. But when you take the cost of education over a lifetime of earnings, it really dwarfs the sense of investment or ROI. I want you to just take a moment and explain the various programs that HBU Online has, bachelor level, master's level, and how it's continuing to grow.
Yeah. So I'll highlight at the undergraduate level and the graduate. So some of our programs that I guess are top performing in terms of enrollment, and that's much more of a marketing phrase, but some of our highest enrollments are in some of those programs that can be widely applied to a myriad of different fields. So we're talking about our Bachelor of Business Administration and Management, and our Bachelor of Arts in Managerial Studies at the undergraduate level, of course. And then our Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, which, as you know, is a foundation for so much graduate level work, whether students decide to go into counseling, if they decide to continue to pursue down a psychology track. It can also be a foundation for biblical studies. We have students that will come in and start with the psychology degree and then move into maybe their MDiv or theological studies, counseling, things like that. At the graduate level, of course, we've got many programs at the graduate level, including those counseling programs within our School of Christian Thought, which is an amazing department at HBU. Some of those programs are some of the top and have some of the top faculty members in the country for apologetics and theological studies, and the Master of Divinity, which we just recently moved online within the last, I believe, year and a half or so. So those are the types of programs that you start to see people, I guess, really learning and figuring out what they want to do. at the graduate level. At the undergraduate level, we do see more with students, them kind of saying, okay, I'm not really sure what I want to do. What's something that I could apply to many different areas, many different fields of work, or that could, like I said before, lay a foundation for me to pursue later on. And we very much enjoy our advising and our consulting, and our admissions teams very much enjoy working with students, online students, to determine what's going to be the best fit for them. But an investment in your education and an investment in your education is going to be an investment in your future.
Mhm.
And that's always going to yield a great return for you as a student and for you as a person. I never in a million years, if you had asked me maybe, I don't know, 10, 11, 12 years ago, if I ever saw myself with a master's degree or even considering a terminal degree, I probably would have said, no, probably don't think I need it. But aside from the professional benefits and the professional return on that, I very much believe that I grew as an individual, intellectually, personally, spiritually, for sure. So I think when you're talking about return, it's always going to be unique to the student. There's not going to be a one size fits all return for any program, any one particular degree. But I think the majority of our online students, are so driven, and one of the aspects of my job that I enjoy so much is when I do get some of that one-on-one time with individual students, when we're highlighting them for, for a student testimonial on our social media accounts. It's a video that we're getting some interview footage from them to make a little promotional video. It's always so lovely for me to learn what has driven that student not only to HBU, but what has driven that student to pursue an education at all. And it's never, ever the same answer. There are always unique factors. And I think that is something that is so, so cool about doing at HBU. Because of our size as a smaller university, we're able to have those one-on-one conversations. We're able to have those one-on-one individualized, unique relationships with students from the time they apply to the time that they graduate, whether it's with, an admissions representative all the way to faculty. And even Dr. Sloan, I've been on campus and seen him greet students by name as he passed them on Holcomb Mall or around campus. And so that's just something that I think is so unique about HBU. But all that to say, I think the return is so unique to students, but the drive for that is what gets them to that point of achieving that return at the end of the day, at the end of their degree, I guess.
Very well stated. I mean, when you think, so there has been a lot of growth since you guys just embarked on this, guys and gals, and over 1,000 students online. HBU is one of the comer universities in the online space. Just take a minute and give a few of the accolades of where we're at and where we're going.
Yeah, so we're really excited. I was hoping to have this specific number today, but we are really, really close to 1,600 enrollments, unique enrollments to online. So we're very excited about that. Like you kind of alluded to before, mentioned before, we started out with really just a handful of students. Prior to us launching the online division, we had a couple of programs that were uniquely offered online, and those were our nursing programs, our RN to BSN and our MSN. And then of course we had classes that individual courses that may have been offered online, and then some courses residentially that were doing that hybrid model. But we really had, I believe it was somewhere in the 60s, maybe 60 or so students, give or take, that were uniquely online MSN or RN to BSN students. And just in the last almost 4 years, we've grown that to over 50. I'll say over 1,500 right now, because still have a couple more to get to that 1,600. But yeah, we are very excited about that growth, and a lot of it, I think, I don't know that we can our team can take full credit for that because HBU already had such an amazing reputation within the higher education space and within the Houston community. You go anywhere in Houston, right around HBU, everybody knows it. Everybody has heard of it. Everybody has some sort of connection to it. Oh yeah, we used to go to football games there. Or we used to take our kids to football games on Saturday. You know, everybody has some sort of connection to HBU. And I think that speaks volumes for not only the school as a whole, but when you embark on something like this, launching an online division, that helps you a lot, and it definitely benefits you in the long run. And just capitalizing on that and expanding upon those qualities that we already knew that HBU had, but we're just offering it in a different space, in a different modality. So we're very excited about where we're headed. We've got some big goals for this upcoming academic year. It's hard to believe that it's February and we're planning for, we're wrapping up planning for the last quarter of this academic and fiscal year. And then we're off to the races for the new academic year for 21-22, which is wild and crazy. And but we're very excited and very hopeful and optimistic and just excited for the future of online and all that we have to offer and will continue to offer, and the growth that we'll continue to experience, not only in our student body, but in the programs that we're going to be offering. And yeah, so we're excited. We're hopeful for what's to come.
Well, and you know, I remember when I came on staff as Vice President of Innovation and Strategic Marketing that we sat down among the Dr. Sloan and several of us, and we began to think and dream. And I remember just feeling so impressed that online could go to a whole huge horizon, and 14 months of task force meetings. I remember calling Dr. Godwin and saying, you've got to come and you got to be here. And then I had to host him every month, which you need a little bit of special grace to do that. I can say that having been his friend since I was 19 years old. But you know, at the end of all of that, Dr. Sloan had the vision to step forward. And then we worked diligently, and God provided just a handful of donors to give about $7 million so that by cash we could start that expansion. And then we were on the hunt for great leaders. And you know the rest of the story, Callie. The Lord just led us to Dr. Steve Peterson, Dr. Jay Spencer, and really to you through them. I just want to say to you how proud we are of you, how grateful we are for the many, many hours. I mean, your job is a unique one, and that you have to make all these unique and challenging decisions. And, you know, as we all know, nobody bats 1,000 in the space of marketing. We beta test this and beta test that, but you're a tremendous gift to our university. And we're so deeply, deeply grateful that you're a part of our team. We want to make sure that we talk about hbuonline.com. So take a minute and just tell everybody how they can check out more, who they can call to talk and figure out how to get on their high journey of matriculating educationally to a better career.
Yeah. So hbuonline.com is our unique side of the website. You can obviously access our online programs and all the information regarding those programs through hbu.edu. But if you want to go straight to our online offerings and the information related to those, hbuonline.com. You can submit a request for information through that page. You can also complete your free application for admission on that page as well. Or you can call one of our team members. We've got some admissions consultants and an entire admissions team that's ready to take your call, ready to they can process your application over the phone for you. And that we recommend a lot of times to students, especially those that have not been in the higher education space. Maybe it's been a few years and they're maybe just a little unsure. We definitely recommend them giving our team a call, because they can walk you through the whole process. They can do your application with you over the phone so that you don't miss anything, you don't miss any steps, and they make sure that they get everything done correctly for you and quickly, efficiently. And you can reach them, students can reach them at 1-855-428, so it's HBU 428-1960. Select option 3, I believe, for our consulting team, and they will get you all squared away.
Callie, thank you so much for who you are, for your husband, your family, those two dogs, I'm sure that are looking forward to get set free from the quarantine, and that's all coming. um, yeah, I want to remind our friends that, there's a residential side of the house at HBU, hbu.edu/admissions, 281-649-3211. Our graduate school at hbu.edu grad, GRED, or 281-649-3269. And remember, some of you who watch Think About It are just supporters of HBU. You're donors, you're people who give money. And, there's no more worthy investment than donating financially in the lives of a young man, young woman, middle-aged, older-aged man or woman who wants to get great academia from a Christian worldview, so distinctive and so characteristic of Houston Baptist University. This is a degree that has content. That content means equipment, and it means the learning skills, those critical thinking skills, so necessary in a world today where many of our Christian values are challenged. HBU fills that spot. So please reach out today. Callie, thanks so much for being with us. I look forward to see you on your next journey as we continue here in Houston and beyond. Okay.
I look forward to seeing you as well. Thank you for having me.